Hello. I took that camera back today, got store credit or gift card, whatever. I got put on a gift card because one, it's easier. Two, I know it's still there and I can't really touch it. So I can get the camera and won't be tempted to use it on something else. So I'm doing this on my web. I'm going to be vlogging from my webcam for a little bit. So today I want to rant about the Burn Notice series finale, the last episode ever. I am livid about it. Spoiler alerts. If you are into Burn Notice and you love the show and you don't want the finale spoiled for you or anything like that, then now's probably not a good time to be watching my vlog. And I do not want to put the text annotation stuff in there, so I don't want to overlay the text. So I'm letting you know right now. Spoiler alert, and language alert if you're sensitive. Just be warned. I am having a drink today because it's just been that kind of a day. Yeah, last night it was that kind of a night, and that final episode was so gut-wrenchingly horrible. Oh. You think you Lost fans have something to bitch about? Oh, I got you with the Burn Notice one. I blame the character of Fiona for Madeline's death. Yes, that's right. Madeline dies because of something Fiona does. And if Fiona didn't do what she did, Madeline would not have been placed in the position that she was placed in to sacrifice herself to save Charlie and Jesse. Yeah, ain't that about a bitch? But let's just go back a couple of episodes. Okay, it's been leading up to this just this whole plot line of Michael supposed to be going rogue, essentially. Now, as I'm watching this, I'm kind of rooting for him to go rogue. To all the crap they did to him, they put Simon back on with the CIA, but on a blacklist to where, like, he's not, like, I don't know if the word's blacklist, but they put him on, he's basically, like, under the table, you know? There's no, like, W-2s to fill out because he's not really there, you know? And so, you know, Michael and Simon have a run-in, and Michael ends up finally killing Simon, which, woohoo, that dude was psychotic. But, you know, it was all set up, right? So, last week's episode, before this, you know, before the finale, he was basically told by the guy, I want to say his name was James, because I just do, and I never paid attention to that character enough. I mean, he was the guy that was the major evil dude on Alphas, which was, I just found out was canceled while I was watching Big Bang Theory. You know, and getting caught up, I found out Alphas got canceled. And I'm like, what the shit? But, you know, that's for another video. So, this James guy is going to turn himself into the CIA, because the CIA is going to take Fiona, Jesse, Sam, and Madeline all prisoner in the CIA detention facility if Michael does not capture James. That was part of the arrangement from the end of last season. It continued into this season, and we found out why Michael was back in the suit and everything. So, you know, James decided, since they weren't going to stop coming after him, and the only way to ensure that Michael's friends and family would be safe, he decided he was going to sacrifice himself. He was going to turn himself into the CIA and spend the rest of his life in the detention center. And with that happening, they think they take down his organization. But really, he was passing on the reins to Michael and Sonia. Now, all Michael really had to do was get the guy captured and take out Sonia when he was gone. That's all he had to do, and he would have had full control of the organization, and he would have been able to use it however he wanted to use it. And he could have done a full-blown, just operation, like how he was running things in Miami, how he was doing things, how he was saving people. He was always had these friends that were always in trouble, and he was coming to the rescue and everything. He could have done that on such a larger scale, better than any other of the government organizations, especially with his training. And just him, Fiona, Sam, and Jesse could have ran an organization and just, oh. But no, when James is coming in by helicopter to surrender himself, but he's not necessarily surrendering himself. They're basically putting on a show that Michael captured him when he didn't. Fiona decides to stick her nose into the business. When he tells her to back off, stay out of it, no. What does the bitch do? She sits there and she puts her nose in it. She sends Sam and Jesse to spy on Michael, and they catch Michael meeting up with James when he says that he's just hanging out at the marina, which he didn't lie about where he was. He just lied about why he was there, and they caught him in that lie. He said he wasn't supposed to meet him until next week. Well, he was meeting him there right then, right now. And then, so when Fiona did all of this, it just set into motion just this clusterfuckness. So Fee doesn't give up. They try to kidnap Michael, and it doesn't work. He gets away from Sam, and he goes back to the facility where they're supposed to detain James and everything. Fiona shows up with the crew, and she ends up going up to the roof, hoping that they distracted Sonia long enough. Sonia comes up, sees Fiona, and that's basically where last week's episode left off. Well, in this week's episode, or let's say the final episode of Burn Notice ever, Michael ends up having to shoot Sonia to save Fee's life. If Fee did not put herself there, Sonia would have stayed alive, they would have captured James, and Michael would have took over the organization, and he could have took out Sonia later if he felt like it, and ran the organization how he ran things in Miami. And that would have been a way better ending than what happened. So he kills Sonia. James sees him kill Sonia. James ends up turning on Michael, which, hey, he should have after what he saw. So they're on the run. The CIA puts them on a list now because they screwed up the whole entire mission because of Fee. So they find James's little satellite relay station. They're going in there to get the hard drives of all of James's relayed information because it gets stored onto a hard drive and sent somewhere, but it stays stored on that hard drive. They're going to turn that into the CIA, hopefully clear their name, everything like that. Golden. Well, James knew because James saw the news and found out that they stole some disposable phones. So he tracked them, and he ended up inside the place where they broke in to steal hard drives. Well, he was already in there. And he had the place where they were hiding Madeline and Charlie out at surrounded. It was Jesse, Madeline, and Charlie. Well, in order to offer Jesse and Charlie enough time, she had to detonate the C4 by hand. So that's how Madeline dies. At least she went out like a G. I was, just putting that out there. She went out like a boss. But, they had the little touching moment. Michael talked to her. She told Michael what she was doing. Tried to talk her out of it. He cried and all this. And then he just filled with anger and was like, "At this, we're going to take him out. My mom didn't sacrifice herself for nothing. This, that, and the other." Fee's fault. Still Fee's fault. I don't care how you try to spin it and what kind of Burn Notice fan you are. That is Fee's fucking fault. Madeline would still be alive if Fee didn't go sticking her nose in his shit when she shouldn't have been sticking her nose into it. She wanted to save Michael, blah, blah, blah. She could have did it after James was in custody. She could have just stuck her nose out of it and let Michael deal with it. She should have just trusted him and all that. But no, she had to go and do all that, so Madeline has to die. And so they go apeshit on James. They kill James. He's got a dead man switch to all the explosives that were booby-trapped in the building. He lets go of the switch, blows everything up, and it shows Sam escaping in time. Then it shows a funeral, this, that, and the other, Fee and Michael's, coffins or whatever. And then Jesse and Sam are sitting there talking, and they're like, I wonder where they are, this, that, and the other. Then it cuts to a scene of Michael and Fee barely escaping out of the building as it's blowing up and landing into the ocean and stuff. Completely freaking predictable. And then they have the nerve, they have the audacity to take two MacGyver-esque characters who love gunpowder and explosives and high action and everything. They had the nerve to take those two characters and put them in a domestic situation. It ends with these two people in a snowy cabinish type place, which I assume would be Ireland, somewhere near Ireland anyways. And that's also, I assume that because, Fee was ex-IRA or something like that. And so they have Charlie. How did they manage to get a hold of Charlie after all this went down? You don't think the CIA would have took Charlie into custody? Blah, 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 blah. I don't know. Maybe they met up with Jesse later in a rendezvous, took Charlie with them when they left, and maybe that's how they knew that they were still alive. Who knows if that's how that happened, because they didn't put that in there. But it has them sitting there on a couch. Charlie's asleep on Michael's lap. Fee sits down, has tea or whatever, and they're sitting in front of a fireplace with a fire going. And that's how it ends, basically. Are you shitting me? Oh my God, there's so many problems with that. You just don't. It should have ended with Fiona and Carlos still being together, doing the whole the bounty hunter thing. Should have found a way for her to make up with Carlos, and because he left because of the thing that Michael had to do in order to save him, blah blah blah. And it should have found some way for them to reconcile, them to be together, them to do the whole bounty hunter thing. And it should have ended with Michael and his, basically like in a fortress of solitude, so to say, running the show, running the op, running the whole operation that James had set up, but in his own way and the way he had things going in Miami, except on a worldwide scale. And that's how it should have ended. And it had Jesse in his corner and Sam in his corner. And they're going over things, and that's how it should have been. Sam would have been stationed in Miami, drinking mojitos, whatever. And Jesse would have been, probably right by Michael's side as far as, like a team member. And, like his number two. And that's really how it should have all ended. That's how it should have all went down. And, just like this whole silent protector, he's always going to be watching over all, these people who are getting screwed over and everything, and, he just kind of like a Batman style type of ending, which, I mean, his whole theme of his show was he was a Batman style character because he was a vigilante. He did save a lot of people, and he led them to the thresholds of the police and stuff. So, that's really and truly how that show should have ended. But it didn't end that way. And it's so disappointing because they set it up that way. They set it up that way to make it look like it was going to end that way. And I was happy as shit. I mean, after how things were between Michael and Fee, I was not beat up about them being apart. I was at first, but then when as the story started to unfold, things seemed a little bit better for them to be apart. Sorry that this video is so long, but it is a rant. So it's allowed to be long because rants are rants. This is today's vlog. I will say goodbye. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you have not already, comment, favorite, share, all that wonderful stuff. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.